everyone, I'm back. This is Emily, and I'm going to talk to you about our TED lecture, How to Tie Your Shoes. Really funny lecture. Let's get started.
I'm used to thinking of the TED audience.
So, Terry Moore, I guess he thinks the TED audience is something special.
And says a wonderful collection of some of the most effective, intelligent, intellectual.
As a wonderful collection of some of the most effective, intelligent, intellectual. So a collection, a grouping, right? So this person, collecting them together, and a wonderful collection, a great group of some of the most effective. What does it mean to be effective? Kind of you're really good at making changes. Maybe changes, you can do things really well. You're effective. You do it well. Intelligent, smart, of course. Intellectual means you aren't just intelligent, but you also think about really big topics. Kind of a lot of times intellectuals, we say, are professors, philosophers, people who are creative in their jobs, creative fields, intellectuals.
Savvy, worldly, and innovative people in the world.
Savvy, worldly, and innovative people in the world. So savvy, right? It means that they are really good and cool and also like savvy can mean you have good common sense. You have good knowledge. We use this a lot, maybe computer savvy or tech savvy. It means you really adapt to things quickly. And savvy, kind of cool, actually. Nowadays, when we use savvy, it means you're a little bit cool because you pick up things really quickly. Worldly, right? You think about the global, not just small-minded, right? Small-minded, not narrow-minded, kind of really open thinkers. And innovative. You make changes, all right? Innovative people in the world.
I think that's true. And I think that's true.
So remember, he thinks the TED audience is this, and he's saying, that's true. It's true.
However, I also have reason to believe that.
Right? I also have reason to believe that. I have a reason to believe. We say, I have reason to believe you cheated. I have reason to believe you committed the crime. And so he's saying, I have evidence, or I think, I believe that.
Many, if not most of you.
Many, if not most of you. So many of you guys, if not most. So actually there's a little bit of a difference here. Many means a lot, but most means maybe 90%, right? So many, a lot, but most, almost all of you. So like here I'm going to give you some water to drink. Oh, you drank a lot of my water, but maybe halfway down you drink it down to here. You drank most of my water, right? All right.
Are actually tying your shoes incorrectly.
Now, so why are people laughing at this? Right? So you are actually tying your shoes incorrectly. Tying your shoes, right? We learned that when we're so young, right? And so it's ridiculous to think that we do it incorrectly. How is it incorrect, right? If you tie the shoe, that's fine. That's correct. But he says, it's incorrect.
I know that seems ludicrous.
Right? So funny or absurd. We use the word ludicrous. I know that seems crazy a little bit. He means ludicrous, funny, absurd.
I know that seems ludicrous,
right? People are laughing. He's like, I know it seems absurd. I know it seems funny. I know it's crazy, but.
And believe me, I lived the same sad life.
And believe me, right? So he's saying, I know. I lived the same sad life. He's saying that tying your shoes wrong makes your life sad and miserable, right? He lived that way. He lived the way most of these people lived.
Until about 3 years ago.
until about 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, I learned the right way. Okay?
And what happened to me was I bought.
So he's telling us the story of how he found out how to tie your shoes correctly. Remember, before, 3 years ago, he learned incorrectly. Okay?
What was for me very. What was for me.
What was for me? When we say what was for me, it means I thought. So the food we eat, that's spicy. That was spicy for me. That was spicy for me. But for somebody else, it's not spicy, right? So for me.
Very expensive pair of shoes.
A very expensive pair of shoes. So expensive means, yeah, not cheap, right? A little bit pricey, right? He had to pay a lot of money. He thought it was expensive.
But those shoes came with round nylon laces.
So he bought expensive shoes, but he had a problem. What was his problem? Good, his laces. What are laces? Yeah, it's the string that you tie. Like, they go up, and you tie them, right? And they were round. You know, like, it's round. It's not, kind of, not like, Converse. Converse shoes have flat. It's kind of flat laces, but round nylon. Nylon is a kind of fabric, right? It's not cotton. So it's a little bit slippery. So when you tie it, your shoelaces come untied really easily. So he's saying they're expensive, but he had a problem with the laces.
And I couldn't keep them tied.
Right? So we tie our shoelaces. And he couldn't keep them tied means every time he was walking, they came untied. They fell out, right?
So I went back to the store and said to the owner.
So he had to go back and talk to the owner. Like, I have a problem with my shoes, correct? So we call this kind of returning or exchanging, right? So I have a shirt and it doesn't fit. So I go back to the store and I tell the, customer service, I need to exchange, get a different size or get a different color or get a different style. I don't know. Or return means I take it back and I want my money, right?
I love the shoes, but I hate the laces.
So the owner of the store, he's like, man, you have to help me. These shoes are awesome, but the laces are terrible.
He took a look and said.
Right? So he looked. He took a look. We use this expression, here, take a look. Hey, look, I have something. Take a look. Look, right? Take a look. And said.
Oh, you're tying them wrong. Now.
So, could you imagine? You're at a store and you say, oh, this isn't working. They say, oh, you're tying it wrong. But that's like saying, for example, I'm drinking coffee and my friend says, oh, you're drinking that wrong. Like, what, right? It's kind of a little bit weird. And so,
Now, up until that moment.
So until that time, up until, we are saying right at that time, right up until that time.
I would have thought that by age 50.
Right? So he's making another joke here. He's like, I'm 50. I'm 50 years old. And I thought that by age 50.
One of the life skills that I had really nailed.
Okay, do you know what it means, nailed? When we say nailed, it means kind of you perfectly do. Perfectly. You nailed it. So if you're singing a song in Norebang, karaoke room, you're singing, oh, and then you get 100 score, you nailed it. You did perfectly, right? Or you're doing a performance and you memorize your lines perfectly. You have a perfect performance. You nailed it. Or you take a test and you get 100%, you study so hard, you do perfectly, you get it back, 100%, you nailed it, okay? Perfectly done. I'm not sure why we say nailed it. Maybe it has to do with the fact, you know, you have a nail and a hammer. And if you perfectly hit the nail, it goes down perfectly, right? So you're boom, and it goes in perfectly. You nailed it. Maybe, I think. So anyway, you nailed it. I had it really nailed.
Was tying my shoes.
Was tying my shoes. So a life skill. Do you know what a life skill is? It's something we learn throughout life so that we can live life well, right? So he's kind of funny. I thought I really was good at tying my shoes. That's a life skill, right? Like brushing your teeth or making food, cooking. That's a life skill. Doing your laundry. He's saying, I think I really got it. I really know how to do it perfectly. Was tying my shoes.
But not so. Let me demonstrate.
But not so means, but I didn't. I didn't have this nailed. Let me demonstrate. Let me show you.
This is the way.
This is the way. So we get to see now, and watch carefully, guys. This is really good. After I watched this, I had also a pair of shoes like him, and they had round nylon laces. And every time I walked in them, I live really close to the training center. I live near Yoksam Station, and it's about a 15 to 20 minute walk to the training center. So every day I wore those shoes. I really loved them. But every time I would begin walking, halfway to the training center, my shoelace would come untied. It was so annoying. So watch this. I tied my shoes. Perfect. I just watch. This is the way
That most of us were taught to tie our shoes.
So the way that most of us were taught to tie our shoes. So yeah, he's showing us how we normally tie our shoes, okay?
Now, as it turns out, thank you.
All right, so now, as it turns out, he's saying, now, you know, it turns out, and people start to clap. Why are they clapping, do you think? It's kind of funny, right? Like, they're a little bit teasing him, like, oh, good job, you tied a pair of shoes. So, and he's laughing too, he realizes. And saying, now, it turns out.
Wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. Kind of also funny, right? Because he's teasing the audience. They're, oh, good job. And he's like, okay, guys, just wait. There's more. That expression, wait, there's more, sometimes comes, it sounds like, do you know infomercial? Kind of home shopping network. You watch it and they say, here, you can have this and this, but wait, there's more. And you get this and this and this, right? So he's saying, just wait.
As it turns out, there's a strong form and a weak form of this knot.
All right, so there's a strong and weak form, way, style of this knot. So there's a type, a weak and strong type of this knot. And this is what we call a knot. It is tying. A knot is usually, you tie it and no bow. But this little thing here is what we call a knot. We also use knots like in your hair. You know how sometimes you get like little like, you're trying, it gets stuck. Oh, we have knots. A knot in your hair. Yeah, so a knot.
And we were taught to tie the weak form.
So this is why our shoes come untied, because we do the weak form. Not everybody, most of us were taught the weak form.
And here's how to tell.
Here's how we can see. At first I was like, I don't tie the weak form. And then I did what he's going to show us how we can tell, okay?
If you pull the strands at the base of the knot.
So again, another word for shoelace, we can say strand or string. The strands at the base, at the bottom. Here we have the bottom of the knot, at the base of the knot. So if we pull it,
You can see that the bow will orient itself down the long axis of the shoe.
You can see that the bow, here we have the bow, right? The circly part will orient itself down the long axis of the shoe. So orient itself, to orient means to position compared to something else. So we use that with sometimes compasses. You orient yourself north, you orient yourself south, you orient your furniture compared to something, and it will orient itself down the long axis of the axis.
You can see that the bow will orient itself down the long axis of the shoe.
And so the long axis of the shoe. An axis is we say straight line. It's a little bit, he's a little bit smart, a little bit scientific. He means it's going to go straight down the shoe. Straight down the shoe.
That's the weak form of the knot.
That's the weak form. All right, guys, so I want you to check. Look at your shoes and look to see if your shoe is weak or strong. Which one is it? Okay, I'm looking at my shoes. Actually, I'm wearing different shoes, and I have the weak form of the knot. One of my shoelaces is straight down. All right, so we now know we do the weak form.
But not to worry.
But not to worry means don't worry. Don't worry, guys. He has something for us.
If we start over,
so let's begin again. Don't worry, he's going to teach us the trick.
And simply go the other direction around the bow.
Okay, and go and simply, it's very simple, right? Instead of going the normal way, you go like this, go this way. The other direction around the bow. Here are the bows. Go the other direction.
We get this, the strong form of the knot.
We get this. This is the end, right? A strong form of the knot. Not the weak form, the strong form.
And if you pull the cords under the knot,
So again, he's using a new word, right? Okay, so we've used like strings and laces and strands and cords. All of those words we can use to explain kind of a thicker thread, right? So pull the cords, usually we use cord for single, like sometimes I've seen in England, I went to England and the toilets actually had cords you had to pull. It was so weird. I've never seen toilets like that before. Always we have a little button you press, or a button you press, like a lever you pull down, or you press a button, you pull a cord. If for a toilet in England. And so usually cord is not used for shoelaces, but he does. So again, we're going to pull the cord under the knot.
you will see that
The
bow orients itself along the transverse axis of the shoe.
All right, the bow orients itself. Again, we have this phrase orients itself. It positions itself. It moves by itself along the transverse axis of the shoe. Transverse axis means not parallel. Kind of the axis of the shoe is kind of down here. Transverse axis means kind of perpendicular. Do you know the word perpendicular? Perpendicular means kind of like a T. And so it's kind of across it. When we say transverse axis, kind of across. So not down it, across it.
This is a stronger knot.
This is a stronger knot. Okay, very good. We learned the strong form. And it's very simple, right? Just knot, normal, do the opposite. And it's a stronger knot.
It will come untied less often.
It will come untied less often, right? So he's not saying it will never come untied, but he's saying less often. Not as much. It will come untied. Come untied, we use this kind of come untied because the shoelace doesn't do it itself. Now, for example, if I'm walking and my shoelace falls apart, or the bow falls apart, we say it comes untied. But if I untie it, we don't say come untied. We just say you untie, right? So there's a little bit of a difference here. come untied versus untied. Okay, come untied, kind of accident. Untied on purpose, okay? Less often.
It will let you down less, and not only that.
It will let you down less, and not only that. What does he mean, let you down? We use that expression a lot, like, you feel disappointed. So if you're walking and, my shoe came untied. It lets you down a little bit, is what let down. We use this expression mostly when we have friends who disappoint us. Man, you really let me down. I counted on you to be here and you weren't here. You really let me down. Okay, so let down. But it's kind of funny, right? He's saying the shoe can let you down. And not only that,
it looks better.
It looks better. All right, so kind of cute, right? I like this guy. He's saying that it's practical, right? It's practical. It's smart. It won't come untied and blah, 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 blah. But it also looks good, right? It does actually, right? This is when we think of a bow, we think of this shape, not kind of walk. And it kind of reminds me of when girls go to weddings or girls go to, in America, we have prom. I guess in Korea, you guys don't have it. It's a very formal dance for our last 2 years of high school, right? So we call it prom. And you go and you wear really fancy dresses. And when I went, I had a dress on and I had a bow on my side. And the entire night, it really bothered me because I wanted the bow to be straight, but it kept going like, bloop, 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 like all over the place. And it really bothered me, right? And so now I know why, okay? And now we never have to have an ugly bow again. All right.
We're going to do this one more time.
We're going to do this one more time. So everybody's clapping again. This is a cute, funny lecture, right? One more time. He's like, okay, guys, I'll show you one more time.
Start as usual.
Start as usual. As usual means like normal, what you normally do. So start as usual.
Go the other way around the loop.
Go the other way around the loop, right? This is the loop. This is the bow. A loop is kind of like a shape like this. It doesn't close. That's an oval or a circle. But a loop is just bloop, a loop. So go the other way around the loop. Not the normal way, the other way.
This is a little hard for children.
This is a little hard for children, right? So we teach our children, and children, it is actually a little bit difficult because it doesn't, when you tie your shoe, you kind of go this way. It's more comfortable. You have to go this way, which is a little uncomfortable. So he's saying it's a little hard for children.
But I think you can handle it.
But I think you can handle it. What's it mean you can handle it? Handle it. When we use the expression handle it, we're saying you can do it. You can deal with, you can manage it. You handle something. I guess kind of literally your hand, you can do it. You can pull it. You can do whatever. And so I think you can handle this. For example, let's see here. When I was younger, my mom taught my sister and I how to cook. And one time she left while we were in the middle of cooking, and we had to put it in the oven and watch it. And I was a little bit nervous because I had never done that before. But my mom said, I think you can handle it. Meaning, I think you can deal with it. You can manage it. I don't need to be here. You do it alone. Okay, so he's saying, yeah, it's hard for children, but you're an adult. You can handle it.
Pull the nut.
Pull the knot. Pull it. Pull the knot.
There it is, the strong form of the shoe knot.
There it is, right? So here we go. Here it is, the strong form of the shoe knot.
Now, in keeping with today's theme.
So, each TED lecture kind of has a theme behind it. They should have a story that is kind of based on it. And in keeping with means I'm going to follow this theme, right? In keeping with, to keep the theme means don't go away from the theme. There's a theme, we're going to follow it. Keeping with, to keep with the theme.
I'd like to point out, and something you already know.
I'd like to point out, I want to show you. Point out means to show. Kind of, because you point out. Here, look over there, look over there, look here. I want to show you, and it's something you already know. So you're saying, you guys know this, but I just want to, again, show you.
That sometimes a small advantage someplace in life.
That sometimes a small advantage someplace in life. So this is why he's showing us something so simple. Very, very simple. Very small change. And a small advantage. How is this an advantage? You know, if you're walking and your shoe comes untied, you can trip, you can fall. You would have to bend down and tie it. You worry about it. But a small advantage, someplace in life, just something small, you have an advantage in life,
can yield tremendous results someplace else.
Can yield tremendous results someplace else. Can yield, can give you. When we say to yield, it has kind of two meanings. Yield can mean to stop and let somebody else go, but yielding also means to get. So, for example, we use this when we talk about farming. When you farm a big area, you can yield a lot of wheat or a lot of soybeans, something like that. And you can yield tremendous results.
Can yield tremendous results someplace else.
Big results. Something big someplace else. So, even something tiny, like changing the way you tie your knot, can help you somewhere else later in a different way, right? Yield tremendous results. And this is kind of interesting, right? Like in Korea, speaking English, I guess, right, can yield tremendous results. It seems, I know it's not simple. Learning another language is never simple, but just a small advantage. You know something somebody else doesn't know. That gives you an advantage. That makes you higher level than other people. And it's kind of funny. He's just saying even a small one, right? Tremendous results. Okay, someplace else. And so it's kind of a good lesson to learn, right? Use your small advantages to your benefit, okay?
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Do you know why people laugh about this? Do you know what it means to live long and prosper? Well, it's kind of a phrase, I want you to live a long life and prosper, develop really well and become rich and successful. You prosper. You really grow well. So actually, though, this is from, I believe have you guys heard of Star Trek? Star Trek, Startrek. It's a TV show from the 60s, 70s, 80s. I'm not sure, actually. But a new movie came out recently, Star Trek. And this was the phrase they always used. Instead of goodbye, they would pull their hands apart like this, live long and prosper. A little bit geeky, kind of funny. And so everybody knows he's making a joke, kind of, all right, guys, live long and prosper. All right, guys. So that's it. That's it for today's lecture. And I'm really glad to talk with you. And I hope you guys live long and prosper. Good luck with your English training. I'll talk to you later. Bye.